Hello, everyone. I'm Anne Van Orsdale, AVO Medium, and I have a wonderful guest today. Rosita Belkadi is joining us from the Netherlands, and welcome. So excited to have you.
Thank you. So excited to be with you.
It's
I really
wonderful.
love to talk together. So
Yes, it's wonderful to see you again. I studied with Rosita and Nicole DeHaas this past December, and I felt like we became fast friends and had to just really continue on in the learning. And that's what this channel is about, Serving Spirit. It's really connecting people to all the wonderful aspects of working with spirit. So Rosita, tell us a little bit about your journey as a medium, as a trance medium, and as a developing physical medium.
okay, well, let's start at the beginning then first. My first experience with mediumship was actually trance and physical. But I didn't have a clue what it was. I just signed in for a mediumship course for one weekend 20 years ago. And I was at the weekend and everything was dark. And there was a little bit red light and there was a closet dark also. And there was somebody sitting in the closet and I was really freaked out, you know. I was so scared. And I said to my husband, I am never going to sit in a cabinet. Never, ever. Well, you know my story now. Um, then I started searching to find answers, searching to to understand myself, because I could feel the spirit world, but I did not understand that it was so. And well, to be honest, I have found so many horrible things in mediumship that I promised myself to dedicate myself to the truth and to spread the word in a way. And I have there were so many beautiful things I experienced that I don't know where to begin, to be honest.
Well, let me start with this question, because often people say, well, there's really, I think, two schools of thought. You're born a medium or you become a medium. What's your point of view on that?
Well, both in a way, because everybody is from the spirit world. You know, when we are born, we come from the spirit world. So our soul is connecting to the spirit world. And, you know, from that point of view, we are a medium. Because when you're connected to a world where you can connect, then you can feel the spirit world. And, you know, in a way, you are a medium. But to be honest, not everybody will be a medium who can work for people who lost their children and all sorts, those kind of things. Sorry. And, you know, many people feel the spirit world, but they are not a medium professionally. So in a way, you are born, but you have to educate yourself. And keep education, you know, keep learning and finding knowledge about mediumship, because it's such a wide scale thing. You never stop learning, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm obsessed with it. I love the learning, because
Me too.
when you're learning and you're open to spirit, the gifts come in, meaning
I do.
the blessings
Yeah.
for yourself, right? I remember you asking in our class, you said, why do we do this work? And I said, well, to help people, thinking, duh. And you said, well, no, wait a minute. It makes us feel good. That's why we do it.
Exactly.
I loved that response.
It's almost it's a calling. Your soul is calling to do this. You know, you have no other option than to go to a mediumship class, or to go to a demonstration or a lecture or whatever. You know, your heart wants to be involved in mediumship, and that's the only reason we're doing it, for ourselves. Our soul wants us to.
Our soul wants us to. I love that.
Exactly.
I think that's perfect. So talk to us a little bit about mental mediumship. Well, let's stay with mental and physical, right? There's really the two forms of mediumship. And then within that, there's a large gamut of things. So maybe help our viewers, if someone's just stumbled upon this video, they're curious, they feel the pull. but they're not really sure what is mental, what is physical, why do I need to know?
Well, mostly people start with mental mediumship, and most of the time they even don't know there is physical mediumship, because that's such a private section of mediumship in a way. And there are a lot of things and a lot of hustle about faking and fake mediums. Well, I put that to a side for later on. But the mental mediumship part is all about developing yourself, developing your soul, developing how to connect to the spirit world, how to give evidence from our loved ones in the spirit world. And in fact, the only thing as a mental medium we do is to prove that there is a life after the physical death. And many people think that's cold reading, or, you know, I don't know exactly the frames you use in America, but we use cold reading and it's fake, and we can, you know about James, what's his name? Oh, I don't know his name. Well, he's the one who,
James Randi or someone like that.
Yeah.
Right. Who would always try to debunk the mediums, or
debunk people with lies and self-made tested. And mental mediumship is all about that, you know, to give healing, to let the loved ones here know that they in the spirit world are still there. They are watching over us. They are helping us. They are guiding us. And that's, in a way, mental mediumship. That's what it's all about. It's healing. You can be a healing. You can be a healer, a healer medium. There's so many words for a healer. You can be psychic, because when you're a medium, you are a psychic. You are capable of seeing the auric field, feeling the auric field, hearing the auric field. Many people have a different aspect of feeling and hearing. And then you can read the colors and the potential that's in somebody's auric field. You can be a trance medium when you are a mental medium. And most people think that's a different kind of mediumship, but it's not. It's, again, from the mind, from you know, the spirit world comes to our mind, our fantasy, our imagination, and they are talking to us, in a way, talking, because it's not really talking. And then you have to give messages, and that can be in the trance state too. The trance state is a different form of mental mediumship, because you're in a different altered state.
Right. And that takes quite a bit of time as a medium, as someone, as a student, right? Studying that. I know for myself, I'm just getting started in that, and it's a beautiful experience. Tell us a little bit about the shift, as I call it, that takes place for those that are going to see a medium. What can they expect? They prepare themselves, they set intention to hear from their loved ones. And when we start to work, how does it work for you? What's that? I always call it a shift, but maybe describe a little bit. You know, we're not, it isn't coming from us, right? And when you talk about the altered state, maybe explain that a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Well, the shift, in a way, is a beautiful way to pronounce it, because that's, in a way, that's what it is. Mental mediumship is also an altered state. You know, when we are talking, we are in an altered state, and there's another altered state for sleeping and driving a car. You know, the way well, I think you can recall when you're driving a car and suddenly you're at where you want to be, and you think, did I stop at the good points? Did I, you know, you don't remember anything of that car drive. You don't remember anything anymore. So that's an altered state too. And in a way, that's the same shift you have when you work for the spirit world. When I do sittings or demonstration or classes, doesn't matter, I use it everywhere. I try to focus on the world unseen. And because they are around us, I just have to focus, how can I say this in a good way? And not on myself, not who I am, you know. Everybody has troubles in his life, and I try not to focus on those troubles, but I just focus on the world unseen. And then there's My English is leaving me now. Nothing is going to happen at that moment. I just focusing on that world. And that's the first thing I do. So acknowledge them, reaching out, do a little prayer if you want to. And then I start to be aware of the world unseen. And I start feeling them, but not in a way that I feel a man or a woman. I'm just feeling the world of spirit. And then, yeah, well, there's somebody coming in, and they have wants, to be honest, not needs, but wants. And I don't listen to them, to be honest. I just say, go sit. And I ask the spirit world if you have to have a sitting from the spirit world, or you need a sitting, psychic sitting. So I never let them have a choice, to be honest. So I'm really arrogant about that. And then I'm going to sit, and if the spirit world knocks on my shoulder, in a way, then I know there's a loved one. And if it's not, then I start to work psychically. So that's in a way what I do. And when the spirit world comes, then I'm gone, and not totally gone, but I am not the one who's speaking anymore. I have control over myself because I know and I hear what I'm saying, but I don't control my words. Can you understand if I'm saying like this?
Absolutely.
Because it's a little fake, I know, but
that makes complete sense. And I think for people that are studying and working on their mediumship, it's important to understand that difference, because
exactly.
It's not as if we're just, smacked in the face and all of a sudden there's someone standing there. It's subtle. It's very
really subtle. Yeah. It's
very
even, it's like your imagination. It's almost like you have a fantasy of somebody, and it's popping up in your head, and you have to learn to listen to the little signs in between or something. I really don't know how to say it, but with me, I just surrender. And you have seen me working and demonstrating, and you know that I really surrender to the power of the spirit world, and I don't care anymore, in a way. And that's the best way, I think, to work with the spirit world, that you don't care anymore, that they are in control.
I think that's perfect. I think really knowing that this is not perfect, right? This is not an exact science. There's some science to it. And I think that's the thing. We beat ourselves up oftentimes as mediums because why aren't we getting specifics or whatnot? So tell me about that. Do you have times where you can't read someone, or it's not as strong? I think it's important to know that it's not just the medium, right? There's the spirit world and the sitter.
And the recipient also, yeah, really. To be honest, you never know upfront what is coming to you. So there must be no expectations at all. And if you don't have expectations, and that's really difficult, this one is really difficult, to be honest, because people coming, they pay money, and all those kind of things. And when I sit and I start, there's in my head, and I don't know if it's for you the same, are always monsters who saying I'm not good enough, or what are you doing now? And this is rubbish what you're saying. Well, all those kinds of things, all those little things. And at the moment that spirit world draws closer, that the voices in my head that keeping yourself down are away. And to be honest, if the spirit world is there, and I'm not going to say it will never fail, but if you trust them enough, they are going to give what's needed. But that's because I was really trained to, not take mediocre for good or something. I don't know how to say. So I'm really trained to always have the specific things. I don't know if that's a good thing. But now I know that I can do that. So I'm just surrendering and let the spirit world go. Can you understand what I mean?
I do. And when you have someone that is either grieving heavily or is blocked in some way, or, really just wants to know, is this real? I think that changes the energy. Yes. For me, I don't have as many years doing this as you, certainly.
But in the beginning, it certainly is that it, because the spirit world says about people in who are grieving, that they have a grayish grayish color in the auric field, and then it's difficult to do a reading, not only with them but also to them. Can you understand what I mean? So it's difficult to but they always find a way, and mostly they will send somebody else. What mostly happens, they will send somebody else, like for instance a colleague from 10 years ago who died, and they will do, I always say, they open the door. And if they open the door, then there may be somebody else who's coming in and giving a little message to them, so the vibration will slow them down in a way, so the expectations of them, I don't know how to say it, but will slow down or something, and then the loved one who are they waiting for will come. Mm-hmm. But mostly a little bit, and when they come back in a year or 2 years because you touch their heart, then their loved one will come, because you forget it, they forget it, the loved one doesn't know anymore, the gray is gone, and then the magic can happen.
That's true. That's so true. Thanks for bringing that up, because it does happen. A lot of people find their calling, find their way to mediumship through grief. And so I like to talk about that. I like to say, you'll have different experiences with different mediums as well. I especially love too when the spirit world will give a similar message from 2 different mediums or 3 different mediums. And there's such validation in that. It's beautiful.
It is. Yes, it is. And the spirit world is so much more capable of than we can even imagine. And the intelligence is so big that we just, in a way, just need to surrender.
That's right. That's right. Can you think of, I'm putting you on the spot here because I didn't ask you to prepare. I don't care. But can you think of any 1 or maybe 2 examples that you could share with our viewers about really extraordinary experiences that you've had, whether it was a mental experience or something through your physical mediumship? What could you share today to give someone who's not quite sure that they believe in the afterlife? Is there something that comes to mind?
Oh, many stories, but the first thing I'm going to say, we cannot convince anybody. Even if we tell the beautiful stories, they always have a skeptical, there's something to be skeptical about, and skeptical is a good thing in a way, but to be, well, let's say, I don't know the word, not skeptical, but something else. But I have many stories. But one pops in my mind, is one story. I was given a sitting to a family, and they came together. I think it was I don't know exactly how they, I don't know if it was a family, but there were 2 or 3 people in my room. And I felt the spirit world, and I was giving a mother. And the only thing I saw were her shoes. And I thought, what the do I need to give? I only see her shoes. So I saw it were very beautiful shoes, to be honest. And I saw little spots of blood on the shoes. So I said to the people who were sitting in my room, I don't know what's going on here, but I can feel a woman. I have the feeling that there is a mother here, and I only see her shoes. I really don't know what to do. And they were devastated. They were really in shock, because the woman killed herself, and she chose to go stand in front of a train. And the only thing that was visible of her, or maybe left of her, were her shoes and her feet. So that's the only thing she could give as a good evidence. So they knew it's me, it's her. And at that moment they were, they say, yeah, well, we know who you're talking about. And yes, it's our mother. And so I gave more evidence and more evidence. But that was, in a way, that was enough. I've got so many stories, to be honest, but also stories that involved me as a sitter. I was in a seance of a physical medium from England. I don't know if you know Scott Milligan.
Yes.
I was sitting in his seances, and there was well, Daniel, his control was giving a man from the spirit world, and he said all the things he said I could recall as my brother, but I was a little bit afraid to speak up because I thought, yeah, there's so many people in the seance, I'm not going to speak up. That was the first time I get a contact from him, and after that there were many, but this was the first. And he said, well, he said everything that was correct and I could understand. And I said, it's my brother. And he said some words that were Dutch, streets that were Dutch. So that was really, really beautiful. But then he said to me, do you want to talk to him when we stretch out the voice box? So I said, yeah, of course, I was bold and I said, yeah, no problem. And I'm half Dutch, half Greek. So my brother came through and he said, hey, sister, in Dutch. And then he started to speak Greek. And, Scott is a very talented boy, but I don't think he speaks Greek. So, for me, that was so much evidence. I was really shocked in that moment. For me, it was, I knew I wanted to develop more of my physical mediumship. I was just doing a little bit of sitting in the dark and, all the things people think about physical mediumship. I thought them too. And that was the moment I started to sit. And that was for me really beautiful.
That's beautiful. I had a similar experience where my uncle came through and spoke. And I think what's important for people watching this, in a physical medium demonstration or seance, and we'll talk a little bit more about that because I'm fascinated as well, everyone experiences the same thing. Whereas mental mediumship, you're the one as the medium processing the information and sharing it. But in a physical sitting space, the voice box or whatever is create out of the ectoplasm, right, to be able to experience, the entire room experiences the same thing. Yes.
And it's really awesome, isn't it? That you can hear, I don't know if you ever met David Thompson.
I have. Yes. I sat with David, yes.
And when the shoes of the boots, the big foot of his control, William, start walking in the seance room, to be honest, you're in shock. Yeah. You're really in shock because you just saw that he was sitting in a cabinet and, you can still hear him breathe in the cabinet and he is walking. And for me, that's, I can understand that people really don't understand what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I think
I can understand
that's important, right? Because like you said, you can't convince anyone. No. And I tell people all the time, I'm not here to convince you, but I'm here to ask you to open your mind of the possibility. Because I know for me, when I did that, when I opened up to spirit, everything in my life benefits. Everything. Not just
when you start to develop, your whole world is shook upside down. Everything changes. The way you look at the world, the way you feel about yourself, everything changes. I really love that. Yeah.
That's so true. So talk a little bit, if you will, about how you teach, because I know you're a teacher. I studied with you, and you have hundreds of students, thousands maybe, who are all looking for something different. What do you now you teach? Tell us about, you teach in the Netherlands, yes, but you also teach, where else do you teach, and do you have a specific approach that you like to follow?
Yeah, I do. I teach where I'm asked and if I want to. That sounds a little bit strange, but if I don't feel it, I'm not going. Can you understand what I'm talking about? So if it feels like, well, I don't think that people will learn something from me, I'm not going. But I do teach. I have 5 groups who I teach now in my center, and I'm around the Netherlands. How do I teach? I'm really a big fan of natural mediumship. I'm really, and you know that because, that's the thing that I know about, that I teach natural mediumship. That means that you need to discover yourself first. So natural is the first thing. structure is the second. And I believe that everybody is his own medium. So everybody has a different approach, a different way of working, different specialty, different talent, different, I don't know what, different way of speaking. Everybody's different. And that's in a way my specialty, that I look at people, look at the auric field, what's the talent, and then I teach them or help them teach themselves, to be honest, because I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just showing you where the door is. And that's in a way the best way. But I don't like a simple and mediocre mediumship. So I train people to be better than themselves. And that is possible when you develop in a natural way.
I love that.
I hope that's an answer to your question.
It does. I think I haven't heard it explained that way, but you know, I've heard of classes called the natural medium, and I kind of wonder where they're headed with that. So it does make a lot of sense to me. And I think
you know, you need to surrender. And how do you surrender? You know, everybody surrenders in a different way. You know, I have a really strong mind, and for me, the surrendering part was the biggest part of my mediumship. You know, I thought, give me a 7 steps, something, I don't know, just to tell me something. How can I, you know, do this and do that and then become a medium or whatever? But that's not the way, you know. The only way is to develop your naturalness, your spiritualizing yourself in a way. I think that's the best way to teach mediumship, to talk about the old pioneers, to let people know that we are the next generation pioneers. You know, we have a responsibility to take. Oh,
that's right. We do. So tell us a little bit about, you know, when we think about mental and physical, and tell us about let's talk about how you prepare, because I think it's similar for both. It's sitting in the power, right? People say, well, what's the difference between meditation and sitting in the power? Maybe you can talk a little bit about those subtle ways.
Well, the difference between sitting in full meditation and sitting in the power is already the difference, because you sit full meditation and you follow a voice, or you I don't know, go somewhere, or I don't know, and that's in a way meditation. And sitting in the power is a form of meditation. And it's in a way to connect with the spirit world. In the old days, we did a lot of prayers, sit for 1 hour to pray to the spirit world, to God or whatever. And now we do sit in the power, and in a way it's the same. We reach out to the spirit world, and we can ask them to help, or we just offer ourselves. You know, it's for everybody a different way. For me, it's not a good way to sit in the power before I work. For me, it's better to go for a walk, or have a laugh, or I don't know, have a little bit of talk with friends, just to relax a little bit, and that's better for me. And that's the same when I go for a trance demonstration or sit for physical mediumship. Then it's important, you know, that I'm a little bit loose or something, because I'm really strong in my head, and when I sit in the power, it's not good for me. Right. Yeah, it is good for me, but not before I work.
Right. I think I heard it explained that meditation is passive and sitting in the power is active. So it's really, you're really calling in to your point, you're really calling in your spirit team. And, you know, you want to save that energy when you're doing messages, I imagine, doing a reading.
Yeah. For me, it's important to sitting in the power is for me, you know, for my spirit, and when it's important to understand yourself and do that at least every day, to be honest. You can ask the spirit world if you want to. People ask sometimes the spirit world and they get answers. I never get an answer in the power, because when I sit in the power, I'm in a blur, and I've got no idea what's happening, and I don't hear voices, see images, nothing. It's just nothing. I'm in nothingness or something. I don't know what's happening with me. But I get messages when I walk outside, or talk to people. Suddenly they say things that I just asked about. So for me, that's different. But in a way, I didn't like to meditate at all. I never liked to meditate.
I was the same. Same.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
too
think that's
impatient. I'm
interesting.
really impatient.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
meditation's just you're taking a walk, going for a bike ride, being in nature. But
Exactly.
I love what you're saying about sitting in the power being personal for you. It's your time with spirit.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So I know we're almost out of time, but I wanted to
Mm.
see if there's anything else you want to share that you think is important. You talked up front in our chat about a lot of misconceptions or bad information or plain wrong information out there about mediumship. What is it you want to say to people watching this so they can really feel they're on the right path?
Well, as medium, we are not a fortune teller, and we connect with a world that is love. So we have to bring a message of love. And if you are wanted to be a medium or go to a medium or want to discover mediumship, the first thing you have to do is discover your love, who you are, who you can love, and maybe how you can be loved. And for me, it's important that people know that it's not something you can do like a trick, but it's a calling from the soul. So if you are on the path of mediumship, please keep developing. Go and find somebody who will suit you as a tutor, because it's really important that you find somebody who can tell the truth if it's not good, and if it's good, that they encourage you to continue. And it's not good when somebody puts you down. And always keep your intuition high. So if it doesn't feel good, go. And we need more mediums, we need more good mediums, so please keep developing, please.
That's great. Love to hear that. Wonderful. Well, we'll put your contact information in
Oh,
the
that's
comments
nice.
and whatnot in the description. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I have to figure out when that's going to be, but I would love it. I would love it. And we'd love to have you come to the US and bring, your energy, your experience, your enthusiasm for the spirit world to more and more people.
Oh, I like it. And especially with you, because you have sun now.
I have what?
Sun, you have really nice weather there.
Oh, yes. We have
Yes.
great weather here. Yes,
So
yes,
we'll
yes.
meet.
We will plan it. We will plan it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rosita Belkadi, for joining us today for Serving Spirit. There is more and more of this to come, and we hope you'll come back and maybe do a dem, maybe do a trance dem for us one day. Who knows?
Who knows? Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.